Page 28, Russian Dance. We got treble and bass clef. We got one sharp in the key signature. So we look it over and I see, yes, it's in G major. Doesn't have to be with one sharp, but in this case it is. Now we got quarter notes and eighth notes and half notes, so hopefully the rhythm not too bad. So let's take a look. Now it's in cut time. Now when I study something that's in cut time, I convert it to 4/4 or common time while I'm learning it, and then I'll put it back in cut time later. Makes the counting a little easier, especially when eighth notes are involved. So right hand, you're starting up here, and just simple quarter notes. So the eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that kind of thing. Second line, you got to come down here. It's just lift up and move. There's no real phrasing marked in here, but just lift up and move. It's a phrase. Don't forget the F sharps. They're in the key signature. Then the third line, you're coming back up to where you were. Third line's the same as the first. And then the last line, you're coming back down where you were for the second line. And the second line is the same as the second as far as the notes and the rhythms go. Left hand is playing, for the first two lines, is playing the same rhythm as the right hand. And the second line, you're down here. But then in the third line, now the left hand goes to half notes. Half rest, half note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Try and be accurate with the rest. And the last measure of the third line, that is a D sharp, and I recommend second finger on the D sharp. Right there, you can use thumb if you want. I just find it easier to keep the hand out here and use second finger. And then for the last line, come down to, and the last two measures, let's look at this. We've got two voices going. The top voice in the last two measures for the left hand is a B and then a C. The bottom voice there is G's, and that's tied to the G next to it, so hold it down for 4 counts and then another G. So you got to get in both voices here. So you got here, hold the bottom voice down when you play the C, now play them. So it's 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a little tricky. It's a good exercise though, because it takes some control over the fingers and you need that control. So I encourage you to get this. Then you put the hands together. At the beginning it's not bad because it's the same, they're an octave apart. The second line, again, they're an octave apart. You're down. But the third line now it's harmony and melody. And then the last line is still harmony and melody. Now we go back and we add in the staccatos. I recommend a nice fun wrist. You can try a finger if you like it. You got to get in the slurs. Get in the slurs. And then a little bit on the staccatos here, the way it's marked, because different people will interpret this differently and people don't agree. This is another thing that people don't agree on. Look at the second measure. Here at the top, you have slurs on the first two notes. You're going to connect them. And the tendency is to go ahead and connect it to the next note because there's no staccato marked on the B. So you would tend to disconnect it, because a lot of times in music, if there's no slur or anything indicated on the notes, we just connect them. And it hasn't always been that way. But in modern music, or modern interpretation, we tend to just connect them. So it would be like a slurs over the first 3 notes. However, other people would say no, the slur, at the end of a slur you lift up before you start another slur or another whatever. So you would lift up the B would be a little short. Wouldn't be very short, not like the staccato short, but it would be short. Now anything less than a legato technically is a staccato. You get one or the other, take your pick. So it's like at the end of the line. The first line is a phrase. It doesn't say it is, but it is. And at the end of the phrase you lift up so you can start a new phrase. There's a little silence. It's the same thing at the end of in the second measure. When you're going into beat 3, it's just like that. So some people will connect 3 notes, and some people will only connect 2 notes. I can't tell you one way is right and one way is wrong because people don't agree. It's how do you interpret it? Try it both ways. I suggest you do it how you feel like doing it, unless you can find something written from this composer who says, no, I meant it to be this way. Because just because the composer wrote it a certain way doesn't mean that's exactly how it's going to appear in this book. Editors change things. Now, if this is a simplified arrangement, I don't know if it is or not, I'm not familiar with the piece, but if it is, then it may have been written for orchestra or a band or something. I don't know. Look it up. I don't know how you'd find it exactly. Russian Dance, I don't even know if that's the name of the piece, really, because in these books, the method books and the repertoire books, sometimes they change the titles. I'm going to disconnect the notes. I'm going to play a 2-note slur by itself and then go on because that's what's written. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, it's in cut time. We want to feel it in 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. That makes the quarter notes and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and the eighth notes 1 yenda, 2 yenda. This is why if you can learn it in 4/4 first and you get the rhythm, feel of it, then when you speed it up you don't need to count it because you feel the rhythm, you just feel it. You feel the rhythm at that point, but we want to do 1, 2, and 1 and 2, and the speed is allegro moderato, which is a moderate fast. I don't know what a moderate fast is as compared to just a regular fast. Maybe it's a little slower. Moderate that fast a little bit. You decide. Think of a Russian dance. Dynamic-wise, MF. At the beginning, the first 2 lines, both hands are the same. They're both sort of loud. And the second line, they're both soft. Then the third line, the right hand is loud, the left hand can be sort of loud. Then the last line, sort of soft, that's the right hand. Keep the left hand soft. The third measure, now you're soft, and you're going down to very soft. Take your time. Don't get very soft until the last half note. And you don't slow down, you just soft. That takes some practice to get that kind of dynamic. You have to learn to, you gotta learn the piece well enough that you can feel these dynamics. Notice the little decrescendo at the end of the second line here. You're already soft, so just come down to a very soft there, here. That helps in the contrast going into the next line, because the next line, now you're loud. That's louder than you were at the beginning, so yeah, put in that decrescendo there too. Let's play it together slowly. I'm going to do it in 4/4 time for this, so we'll just do that. Quarter note's going to get a beat. We're just checking notes and rhythms. I'm not doing dynamics, so here we go. I'll give us 4 counts, 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, go.